There is an old African saying, "The river that flows silently often runs the deepest." In a peaceful village surrounded by towering baobab trees and gold and grasslands lived a young woman named Amara. She spoke very little. She rarely laughed in public. While others gathered in the marketplace exchanging gossip and stories, Amara sat quietly beneath a giant acacia tree, weaving colorful fabrics with her worn wooden needle. People called her strange. Some believed she had no dreams. Others whispered that silence was the sign of weakness, but none of them knew the secret stitched into every thread she touched. And none of them imagined that one wedding dress would change the entire village forever. This is the story of how the quietest woman became the most unforgettable legend. The quiet girl everyone ignored. Amara lived alone after losing both of her parents during a terrible drought years earlier. The only thing they had left her was an old wooden sewing box. Inside rusted needles carved from ivory, colorful threads unlike anything found in the village, and a faded piece of cloth embroidered with mysterious symbols. Before her mother died, she whispered, "Never sew with anger. Every stitch remembers the heart that created it." Amara never forgot those words. She stitched every piece with kindness. Soon she became the village seamstress. But kindness earned little respect. Customers constantly complained. She works too slowly. Her clothes are too simple. She doesn't even smile. Children laughed whenever she walked past. Women compared her to younger, louder tailors. Even the chief's wife avoided wearing anything Amara made. Still, Amara never argued. She simply smiled gently and kept sewing. The rich merchant's daughter. One season, the richest merchant in the region announced the biggest wedding anyone had ever seen. His daughter, Sarah, was marrying the son of another wealthy family. Gold jewelry arrived from distant kingdoms. Musicians traveled for weeks. Hundreds of guests prepared to attend. Every tailor in nearby villages competed to create Sarah's wedding dress. The merchant rejected every design. Nothing looked special enough. One elderly woman quietly suggested, "Why not ask Amara?" Everyone burst into laughter. The silent girl. The poor seamstress, she couldn't sew royalty. Even Zara laughed. "I'd rather wear plain cotton than something stitched by that nobody." The crowd applauded. Amara heard every word. She simply bowed politely and walked away. The mysterious visitor. That evening, as the moon rose above the hills, an old woman appeared outside Amara's small hut. Her clothes were dusty. Her feet were tired. She carried only a walking stick. "My child," she said softly. "I have traveled many days. I need a blanket before sunrise." Amara welcomed her inside without asking for payment. She cooked warm porridge. She offered water. Then she spent the entire night sewing the softest blanket she had ever made. As dawn arrived, the old woman smiled. "You have passed the test." Suddenly, the wrinkles disappeared. Her walking stick transformed into polished ebony. Golden lights surrounded her. She was no ordinary traveler. She was the legendary spirit weaver spoken of only in ancient tales. You sew with compassion instead of pride. From this day forward, your stitches will reveal the truth hidden inside every heart. Before disappearing, she handed Amara a single spool of shimmering silver thread. Days later, disaster struck. The famous tailor chosen for Zara's wedding suddenly became seriously ill. The ceremony was only 3 days away. No one else could finish the gown. Desperate, the merchant swallowed his pride. He visited Amara's humble home. "I will pay anything. Just save my daughter's wedding." Amara quietly accepted. She asked for no extra payment. No applause. No promises. Only one condition. No one must see the dress until the wedding day. The merchant agreed. 3 nights of sewing. For 3 nights the tiny hut glowed softly. Neighbors noticed strange lights shining through the windows. Some claimed they heard singing though Amara worked alone. Others believed ancestors themselves were helping her. Each stitch carried honesty. Each thread carried hope. Each pattern whispered ancient blessings. Finally, the dress was complete. Simple. Elegant. Unlike anything anyone had ever imagined. The village gathered before sunrise. Drums echoed through the valley. Guests admired decorations covered in flowers and colorful fabrics. Then Zara appeared wearing Amara's creation. At first, everyone seemed disappointed. There are no diamonds. No heavy embroidery. So plain. People exchanged amused smiles. But as Zara took her first steps toward the ceremony, the impossible happened. The dress began changing. Tiny patterns shimmered across the fabric. Golden birds appeared then disappeared. Beautiful rivers flowed through the cloth like living paintings. Flowers blossomed across the sleeves. Stars sparkled near the hem. Gasps filled the air. No one had ever witnessed anything like it. Suddenly, the glowing patterns changed. Instead of flowers, dark stains slowly spread across parts of the dress. The birds vanished, the brightness faded. Everyone stared in confusion. The spirit weaver's gift had awakened. The dress was revealing the truth inside the bride's heart. Zara secretly planned to marry only for wealth. She intended to abandon her husband after claiming his inheritance. Her hidden greed now covered the once beautiful gown. The guests whispered. The groom looked shocked. Unable to bear the shame, Zara confessed everything before the entire village. Tears streamed down her face. I never loved him. I only wanted his family's riches. Silence filled the ceremony. The wedding was postponed. Months later, Zara returned to Amara. This time she wore no jewelry. No expensive perfume. Only humility. I was wrong. Can you teach me? Amara welcomed her. Every day Zara learned patience. She learned kindness. She learned that beauty begins long before the cloth is cut. Slowly her heart changed. Months later another wedding was held. Amara created a second dress. This time the fabric shone brighter than the morning sun. Not because of magic, but because the bride herself had changed. News spread across neighboring kingdoms. Kings requested Amara's work. Queens traveled great distances, yet Amara never became proud. She charged fair prices. She cared for orphans. She taught young girls and boys the art of sewing. Soon the village once filled with mockery became famous as the village of honest threads. Visitors came not only for beautiful clothes, but to learn that true beauty cannot be stitched onto a dishonest heart. Years later, when children asked why everyone respected the quiet seamstress, elders simply smiled. They would point toward the old acacia tree where Amara still worked peacefully. Then they would say, the loudest drum is not always the strongest. Sometimes, the softest stitch changes the world. If you enjoyed this African tale, remember to like the video, subscribe to African Tales Arising, and share this story with someone who believes kindness is never wasted. Until next time, may your heart remain as pure as the thread you choose to weave your own story.